It's been 4 weeks since we had our last Venezianico review, and you know what that means? It means that it's time once again for another Venezianico watch review. So in this video, find out what people are saying about another 42mm Nereide and what's the deal with this malachite dial. Malachite? Is that dark space elf that Guardians loathe having in their local tab bar? I must admit, that's the first thing that came into my mind when I heard about this somewhat desirable stone. When I saw this as the dial for the Nereide, it made perfect sense to me. Not because Venezianico is run by space elves, although I can't confirm that, but because they have a consistent track record of using luxurious materials. It also helps the fact that most other microbrands in the market are more than happy to join the trend of incorporating jewelry stones into their watches. Notice that I'm not referring to these as precious stones as of yet because they're affordable enough for small startup companies to source. But despite this, it's still challenging to integrate them into your watch. Speaking of integration, this 42mm watch is a challenge to integrate with smaller wrists. But to happy, ignorant watch pirates like me, it's a treat to irritate your eyes for the next 10 minutes. Close your eyes, and that's what you could hear with this bezel action. A smooth and tight operation that Venezianico has refined over the years. As with most Nereides, this uses the Selita SW200-1, a reliable and often used Swiss caliber that has yet to fail these filthy hands. Grandmama Pirate always taught me that if you want to see how deep a dive watch can go, always strap it on to Uncle Bluebeard and throw it off the plank on Shark Week. Fortunately, you don't have to find an uncle anymore to test this Nereide's 200-meter water resistance, as this is done for you by Venezianico. One thing that Venezianico hasn't done yet are quick release spring bars on their metal bracelets. So that's yet another thing that we can complain about these artful Italians, or space elves. I'm not sure. Other than that, this Sansovino bracelet is a real jewel to look at, and I'm more than happy to complain less just for the looks of this bracelet alone. If you're willing to go through the effort of changing straps, this still works with a thick light toned band. This configuration further diverts your attention to the colorful dial, as there's very little to look at on the strap department. You can still apply this same principle even when you're using warmer colors, such as this brown Horween leather strap. This particular example has a subtle contradicting impression as its worn down look clashes a bit with the pristine and shiny visuals of the Nereide. In watch speak, this is called dressing down a watch. In watch pirate speak though, Grandmama Pirate has a totally unwholesome idea about it. This is what happens when you try using a similar colored strap. This premium sailcloth strap from Artem provides a good texture and durability to this watch, even when it gets wet. It's still relatively dressed down, but it still plays a good role with your overall attire. With all the shiny bits of the Nereide, especially the tungsten bezel and the malachite dial, it may be harder to find the complementary straps than your usual dive watch. But as you can see, it's not impossible to build a set of straps if you work hard enough for it. I believe it's wise that Venezianico opted for the Sansovino bracelet instead of their signature Carnauba band for this particular watch. It truly accentuates that lustrous personality that sets this watch apart from merely being a tool or instrument. On the topic of differentiation, microbrands have been discovering innovative ways to stand out even within their own product lines. This Solstice from Solace employs aventurine as its dial to showcase its distinctive pattern. Each dial is unique because of its intricate forging process involved in crafting this delicate material. Malachite has a similar effect in the guise of these line patterns. Literally, no two malachite dials are alike. The same principle applies with Damascus watches. This titanium swordfish from Zelos has this titanium Damascus pattern on the bezel that's also manually heat treated by the founder of the company itself. This is a strong selling point for microbrand watches. Of course, one can always argue that no two products are literally identical anyway, but I'd like to think that 99% of humanity won't dive in the atomic level to make that argument. There are other things to argue about in the comment section of the unboxing video of this Nereide. Benjamin Viss argues that it's another Nereide that we really don't need, but he does see that it's very attractive to many people. Rage Against Time remarks that it's too big for 42mm for him, but he seemed to like them at 40. RJ has a strong aversion to the name itself and feels that it lacks significant Italian influence. That's a big subject for another day. And finally, Nizar Mirror said it's a beautiful watch. Yes, Nizar, it is. So let's delve deeper into this beauty. The case is essentially the same as the previous Nereide case we reviewed. We've witnessed how Venezianico refined this case and bracelet by making it thinner, more contoured, and adding some chamfers. All its polished parts exude a luxurious feel before you even notice that very unique dial. Of course, the Nereides are renowned for their mirror polished tungsten bezel, which is not only extremely hard but also very reflective. With that out of the way, let's check out this very unique dial. So, malachite is formed through this chemical precipitation in copper deposits. In nature, it appears as compact masses of light green to deep green colors with captivating concentric and wavy patterns. Each pattern is, of course, unique like fingerprints because of its naturally occurring process. What makes this challenging is selecting the appropriate angle of the pattern to cut and ensure that it fits within the circumference of your tile. Next, you have to ensure that it's treated with care because malachite is known to be a very scratch-prone material. According to Venezianico, they also had to make these dials as thin as zero point 0.4 millimeters. That's actually tough to produce considering that through personal experience, suppliers require at least 1 millimeter of thickness for these stone dials. Understanding this, a watch case designer should anticipate the need to design their dial space to accommodate these stone dials. Venezianico knew that when they redesigned the Nereide case. Granted that there are tougher stones to work with than malachite, but it's still no easy feat to get it down to less than a half of a millimeter. But I guess when you're selling quite a number of watches, not to mention releasing a new collection every 7 seconds it seems, Venezianico has a lot of R&D money to throw around the Nereide platform. Personally, I've grown to appreciate the Venezianico brand. While there are criticisms about the frequency of their watch releases, it does help to emphasize the brand's image in the public perception. So seeing the malachite dial, that's whole marketing point is uniqueness on the same mass-produced case, is kind of ironic. But the other twist here is that if malachite continues its popularity, more and more brands will adopt them, and then it will feel like a mass-produced gimmick all over again. If that is but a plankton in a sea of bigger issues to you, then this naturally beautiful green dial encapsulates that connection between nature and dive watches. And no, I don't think space elves are capable of producing that. That's the Nereide Malachite and another 42mm dive watch from Venezianico. Okay, people are saying that they want to see smaller Nereide, smaller dive watches or watches from Venezianico, and I think they are revealing or releasing more and more of these 39mm, but this one is still 42mm Nereide. I think it's a solid entry. The green dial is amazing and very, very attractive, and not to mention that it has that natural feel to it, even though it's very rare for us to see natural occurring malachites in the wild, obviously, but knowing how it's made and knowing how it would pair up with other things in your attire really makes it attractive for many people. And for me, it's still 42 is in the cusp of my cups. And I could still wear 42mm even though I have a small wrist. But yeah, I agree that they should release more 39mm Nereides, and I think the Venezianico is really trying to do that as much as they can. So let me know what you guys think about this malachite Nereide, and also pardon my voice because of my flu, and I'm still recovering from that, and hopefully by the time that you see this video, I'm back on my feet and my regular programs, regular videos. Honestly, I'm still trying to find a way to get a show done, but hopefully we can get that done after our release of our own watch. So again, that's the Nereide Malachite. Comment down below, let me know what you guys think, and hopefully we can talk about it in some other full-blown show in the future.